It is blazing hot out here. It is 30 degrees Celsius, but I thought it was time to make a kind of a review, I guess, of the R9. I mean, I've had it for 1.5 years now, and I'm actually coming up on the 10,000 kilometer service, which is pretty nice. I did just go on a trip, a 3-day trip with the R9, packed 35 liters of stuff on it. So, I mean, definitely doable, but let's talk a little bit more about how it is to own an R9 in a daily commuter's life, I guess. Let's get on the bike, it's too hot.
Now, the R9 is just a fantastic bike. It is definitely one of the more fun bikes that I've had. I've had 2 second generation MT09s, and I also did own an Aprilia RS660 at some point. I actually owned that bike for 3 years, I think. And while the RS660 was actually a really good bike, I drove that bike like 30,000 kilometers or something, and it was I bought that to check out the kind of naked bike, racing bike platform, if you will, or the new generation of road bikes. Road racing bikes, I guess. Yeah, so I had the RS660, and then I bought a second generation MT09 again, and then I got this. And now we're coming up at 10,000 kilometers on this bike, on the Yamaha R9, and it is it's been quite a journey. I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but most of the seat time on the R9 is actually not going through twisty roads and stuff like that. It is actually, mostly at least, been commuting on a road that goes parallel to this one, but is a lot more straightforward. And commuting on an R9, going like Norwegian speed limits, it's just not fun at all. Like, you need at least 110 kilometers an hour to kind of sit comfortably on this motorcycle, at least in my opinion. Going below that, like 80 is fine, it is doable, because some wind is keeping you from destroying your back. And right now I'm actually wearing a backpack as well, which doesn't make it better. But commuting on this bike 2 hours from between Oslo and Gjøvik, which was my commute, I guess, for not every day of the week, but once a week I usually did that commute, and it was painful to the point where I did not want to ride this bike. I wasn't looking forward to getting on this bike, doing that commute, knowing how much pain my back would be in, I guess. So that kind of comes down to your preference. If you're familiar with sports bikes and you enjoy sports bikes and you know you can ride for a long time on a sports bike, great. This bike is the best road bike, in my opinion, like sports bike, road bike. You got plenty of power with the CP3 engine. It does have a very nice cruise control as well, which is actually, the cruise control on the MT09 is actually better than the one on the Aprilia RS660, believe it or not. Like the buttons and the function, it just feels smoother also while the cruise control is truly engaged. You're not getting cruise control on an R1, and the R1 is definitely a step up in power compared to this, but the kind of body of the bike is definitely similar or more similar, I would say, to an R1. Like the tank is a lot wider than, for example, the R7, which is actually extremely thin in my opinion, like narrow. So the seating position is, it feels like a big boy bike, and it should when it's, now that the R1 is out of production and has been since I think 2025, the bike should feel good, and it's winning a lot of like proper racing. So it's a great bike, don't get me wrong, but if you're buying this as your only and daily commuter, which is what I did, I'm not sure I'd recommend it. I'd probably get an MT-09 or something in the naked category instead. That being said, oh my goodness, the handling of this bike is just amazing. I am not sure how I'm gonna put my excitement about this into actual words, but it is just a really planted and nice bike. Like the front feel you have on this bike, and mind you, I haven't done anything to the suspension. It's stock out of the factory, I guess, off the showroom floor. I haven't done a thing to the suspension, and I absolutely think they nailed the kind of middle point between between driving on the road and racing. Like, I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure how to describe it, but the front feel is amazing. And I haven't tested the latest MT-09, so I can't really compare it to that. I'm gonna do a test ride of one at some point, I guess. But this definitely has more, or should have more front feel than the MT-09, which is a naked version. And it just gives you so much confidence. It is absolutely, it's just mind-blowing. Now, if you're wondering how much weight is on the front, I have ridden this bike pretty conservatively, like for the past 9,000 kilometers. I've ridden it pretty normal, like almost boringly so. And my front tire actually wore out before my rear tire. Now, these were the Bridgestone RS11 tires that came on the bike. They lasted around 9,000 kilometers. And one, that's insane. Two, I am now not wearing new, or I did not put on new RS11 tires. I put on Bridgestone S23 tires for my set of tires. I'm used to the S23. I did not have that on the Aprilia, but I had that on the my MT-09, and I know it's a very good tire that a lot of people have a lot of confidence in. So for my use, like, I'd say I am 80% road and 20% track. Like oh, I kind of lost it there. The S23 is just the gold standard for me. Now, that being said, I have also taken this bike to the track around 2 times. Unfortunately, it's not allowed to videotape the experience, but it's just a really rounded experience. I'd probably say the Aprilia RS660 is a lot more flickable. It feels a lot lighter, and this bike feels bigger. It looks bigger, but it also feels bigger to move around and stuff like that. I'm super pleased with how the bike rides, if that wasn't very obvious. The only thing I don't like is the seating position, that it's really is a sports bike riding position. It might be a little bit nicer to ride than an R1, and I believe it is, but in terms of commuting and stuff like that, it is just not well suited. Definitely not in the city as well. I wouldn't ride this bike in the city and just expect my back to be fine. But hey, your mileage, I guess, might vary. Your experiences are your own. I just know that racing bikes and my my body is not really cooperating that much. But I still got one because I love the look of them, and the R9 was a long time dream of mine. I think I dreamed about this bike since like 2019, when there was no rumors, no nothing. When I owned my MT-09, I was just constantly thinking about how this would look in, or how the CP3 engine, I guess, would be in a sports bike. And now I have it. We have it. It's absolutely fantastic for road use, the engine. Compared to like a 4-cylinder, say the R6 or an R1, this engine is made so much fun on the road. An R6, you have to kind of wring out so much to get some fun out of it, I guess. Now, the forward-leaning riding position is one thing, but I do have a gripe with the kind of riding setup of this bike. Now, I don't know if this is a me problem. It might very much be. I'm starting to think I'm a short person, because my legs on this bike, kind of my thighs, are not as tall as I would like them to be up on the tank. Like, I have to be tippy-toeing the pegs to be in the kind of locked in position on the tank, which is kind of weird, and it's really tiring on my feet and the calves, I guess, when I have to do it like that. So I don't think that's how it's supposed to be. And I do also have the pegs in the taller position. If I'm keeping this bike and I really want to go racing, I guess, to have that locked in feeling of the tank, I guess I would have to buy some aftermarket ones. But I kind of also have this problem on the Aprilia, so it might be a me problem. I guess it does make the ride a bit more comfortable on the road, but on the track I am actually feeling like I'm kind of struggling to get my thighs high enough for the grip tape that I put on, which is kind of sad. Now, I said this bike felt a little bit heavier to move around on the track and stuff like that than the RS660. That isn't all that weird. The weight difference is substantial. I can't remember what the R9 actually weighs, but I believe it's around 200 kilos wet, and the RS660 was something like 180, 170 kilos. So it's not that weird that it feels heavier. And in another place that you definitely feel that is around when just moving the bike on the parking lot, like while you either sit on the bike or you are actually moving it around, like standing next to it and trying to maneuver it. So I've got or in my garage, I'm getting my bike into kind of through this door, and I can't really ride it in there. Well, I guess I can, but I've moved this bike a lot, and it just feels heavy to move around. Wow, cows. So it just feels kind of heavy to move around and stuff, compared to the RS660. Now, I feel like it's not completely fair to kind of I don't know, compare these two bikes, but it is the kind of the best comparison I have, that is in the same segment of this, I guess, kind of new sports bike category, because the R6 was this kind of super sport, and the CBR 600 RR and all of those, they were kind of a super sport genre. And while this is a super sport, The engine, it has a very different characteristics, like the RC990, and the R9 might be a better comparison. And I do believe Aprilia is coming out with, or at least teased, a bigger engine version of the RS660. So maybe that will come someday. We don't know. But it is the best kind of reference point that I have. Now, the reason I'm comparing this towards the RS660 is definitely because the RS660 was kind of my entry point to this new generation of super sports, which is a bigger bike, more torquey engine, and a little bit more geared towards the road compared to a lot of the other super sports. Like the R6 is definitely a bike that is a racing bike first and a road bike second. So I feel like this is the other way around. Not completely, it's not a road bike first, but it's kind of more of a 50-50 split than a 70-30. So yeah, oh, the cruise control just works so good, and it really do save my back, literally, on longer commutes like this, where I can just flick it into the beautiful, beautiful cruise control. Now, another complaint I kind of have of this bike, which is kind of, I don't know how relevant this review is actually going to be, because it's going to be me going like, hey, I use this bike as a commuter and it's not a commuter bike. So many of these things might not apply to you, I guess, but the seat is a little bit uncomfortable when you ride over an hour, at least for me. I weigh about like 90 kilograms, and my weight is just tearing through these seats so quickly. Like, I have to stop or either stand or something. I didn't really have to do that on the on my second generation MT-09 even, which was kind of, I guess, famous for having a plank of a seat. But again, this is a racing bike, so it shouldn't really have a comfortable seat. But just to praise the RS660 again, that seat was superb. I had no complaints of the stock seat. I even bought 2 of them just because I wanted a different color, I guess, but I didn't even look at third-party options because that seat was just so comfortable. Now, I guess this review is kind of boiling down to what kind of riding you do. I'd say I've had like 0 issues mechanically or anything in regards to maintaining and just the reliability of this motorcycle over the course of 1.5 years. I haven't done anything to the bike. Like, I haven't swapped the battery, I haven't done anything like that. I haven't even had it on service other than the first service, the 1,000 kilometer service, and now of course it's going to get the 10,000 kilometer service, but other than that, it is just peachy, this bike. It is mechanically sound, tested and proven. And I mean, that just goes to show how much Yamaha has put into this kind of machine. Like, the MT-09 is also kind of ancient now. It came out first in 2015, 2016. And the CP3 engine has just stayed. I guess the CP3 engine kind of saved Yamaha in some way, because they must have sold so many of them. And here is another addition. Like the XSR and the MT-09, all of them just flew off the shelves, I guess. And I mean, the electronics package which these bikes now have is the same as the R1, if I'm not mistaken. It has a 6-axis IMU. It is just a very good and sound mechanically and electronically machine. Now, the one thing I will say is that the integrated GPS that you can have on this thing is actually dependent on your mobile phone, which is kind of just plain up sucks, I guess. I do like the feature that you could just send the address that you want from your phone to the screen here, but when you are depending on the phone and it drains your bones, it drains your bones as well, sure, but it also drains your phone of battery, then I just found myself not using it as much as I thought I would. I mean, it's good in a few situations, like you might need navigation, but you could just put a quad lock right here and you'll be better off, in my opinion. But other than that, the electronics are nice. I haven't really fiddled it with it too much. I just set it in my custom mode, and then I just kind of roll with it, I guess. And that's it. That's what I usually do. I just put the bike in some settings I think they are, and I adjust some things, but then I just am given one mode. You have rain mode as well if you're kind of worried about that kind of stuff. So I mean, if you are looking for a sports bike that you could, not should, but you could commute on, then I think this is pretty much perfect. And that is also, I guess, the commuting part is a reason why I might not have this bike 10 years in the future anymore. I thought I would, but when commuting, like I have a 2 hour, or I did have a 2 hour commute, and now I'm gonna reduce it to 1 hour. I don't know if I want to ride this bike 2 hours every day, or if I should just get an MT-09. But it kind of stinks, you know, because this is the bike I want. I mean, it looks so good, and it is a sports bike, which is fan-freaking-tastic to ride on the track and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. If you're into kind of sports bike and you want a bike that you can do it all, this is it. I mean, there's no other bike that I know of that can do this. I guess the RC 990, but that's even a more focused track bike, I think. Have you seen the seat on that thing? That must be uncomfortable, like just straight up more uncomfortable than whatever I'm sitting on right now. So yeah, perfect engine size for the road. You don't need 200 horsepower. You really don't need 120 either, but it's fun. And at least here in Norway, like our fines are for driving fast, it's just stupid high compared to other stuff or other countries, I guess. So it's a fun bike. You get to use the bike, most of it if you want, on track, and on the road it's a nice, quick and ready engine, I guess. Alright, I think I got to say what I wanted to say on this little review. I'm looking into doing a more detailed review, which is more like my reviews of the of bike models that I've done in the past, because I think this bike deserves it. But this was more of a casual 10,000 kilometer review, I guess. Zero issues, a fun bike, you know, it's all good. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end this review here, and if you did enjoy, just, you know, consider subscribing if you want to see more, R9 stuff, or just beautiful Norwegian pine trees. I mean, that's great. So yeah, stay tuned, and thank you guys for watching. Do you have an R9? Do you want an R9? Leave it in the comments down below, and I'll catch up with you soon. Peace.